What's up everyone and welcome back to another ladder story. Today's replay is a Flash game. So Flash is spawning here in the top right of Octagon and he's playing against a Protoss who is Sins. So Sins is a pretty decent Protoss player, not quite ASL level, may have got in once or twice, but is never quite in the game. But somebody worthy of note, somebody who sits on many lists in terms of pros, semi-pros, so a very, very strong player. And as mentioned, this is Octagon, so it's the very first time I've actually been on this map. I have not done any of the new maps as of yet. I was quite excited to see the ASL maps get transferred over to the ladder. And when I found this game where Flash was practicing on the new maps against a very decent Protoss, I thought, here we go, let's grab it, let's cast it. Part of me is always dreading that somebody else like Artosis or JJZ or even Falcon will have casted this already by the time it comes out. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles. If it has, it has. If it hasn't, it hasn't. We will still give it a go and we will still enjoy it. So just a standard gateway opening from our Protoss, and it looks like it's going to be a Vulture expansion from Flash. I don't know too much about these new maps, so I will kind of be learning and going along with you guys as the viewers. But it looks like we have a weird looking Chrysalis Seamajigger, and our expansion looks like it's over here, and then there's also a ramp. Oh wow, where does this ramp go? So there's a ramp and there's an around and okay, so I definitely need to figure out what's cooking on these maps for sure, but it'll be more than awesome of an experience to learn along with you, the viewer. So just a quick thanks to everybody. I've mentioned in several of my casts that I have aspirations to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. We've been receiving a lot of growth and support from everybody, so that's much appreciated. If you are someone who likes what you're seeing today, please do hit a like on the video so that I know that you enjoyed it. And if you are a returning viewer or somebody who could see themselves watching more games in the future and you haven't yet subscribed, please do. It'll just make me smile and also take me one step closer to that goal for the year. So we're going to do a Dragoon no range expand, which has been optimized for gas. So he hasn't had 3 probes on gas the whole time. Deliberately trying to make room to go with the Nexus at this timing. Followed by probably a Robo even before range is something that I see quite often. Because if the plan from Protoss isn't to harass with Dragoons, then why even bother with range at the earliest possible timing is the rationale. So we'll see how we progress from here. If we go straight Robo, no, he's going to get range first and then go with Robo. So he's not trying to rush and get the fastest possible Reaver. I don't really know Sins' style, so if he's a Reaver player or not, but we will keep an eye on that. Okay, so our natural expansion is being taken. Our Vulture is out about on the map. We're chasing away the Scouting Dragoon of our Protoss. Second Scouting Dragoon, or I don't know if you can necessarily be a Scouting Dragoon. He's just a Dragoon, right? He doesn't need to be typecast. I mean, that is very offensive to someone to just typecast them. Anyway, so we are exploiting our bunker timing here being a little wobbly-dobbly from Flash, but does have 1 Marine in there. 1 will probably get the job done with continuous repair. However, this Vulture run-in has done a bit of damage. Definitely lost a few workers there. So a bit sloppy from Sins, to say the least. It's not good to harass with Dragoons at the expense of protecting your workers from Vulture harassment yourself, right? So that's always the balancing act that you want to be striking up. So I think range will hit any second now. And before range does, I think he does very smartly. So Flash must have clicked on that Dragoon, gauged the health, and then gone, well, you have booked your ticket to Deathland, my friend. So are we going to go Reavers, is the question. Now, what are these 2 workers doing, is my other question. They're awake again. Hello, fellas. Welcome back to the game. So once again, this time Sins decides he'll pounce on the tank. Does pick him off. Probably a reasonable trade, that. Dragoon for a tank. Can't argue with it. As long as we don't lose any more of our Dragoons, of course. Observatory on the way. Additional gateway, so we're now 3-gate observer. Very standard stuff. My sense here is that Sins will try and expand. What build is Flash trying to do here? So he's going eBay, Academy. No, not Academy. Just eBay for the time being. So turrets will help block and defend. Flash just doesn't seem keen to have Sins on his front door here. So everything he can do to chase him away, he has been doing on a continuous basis. So this time he's going to get the job done. Oh, no, wait, he's not. Sins kind of comes back. This is high ground, I guess? Yeah, feels like it. So it doesn't want to engage here. It's not going to be optimal. I have not seen siege mode be researched as of yet, so pretty greedy stuff from Flash. Getting a few turrets, so is expecting, I presume, he wants to protect against DTs, and the long odds chance that that's a problem. Once again, letting vultures in the front door here. Really, really sloppy stuff. So Flash's vulture harassment has definitely paid dividends. Another turret, so he's playing against Reavers here. I mean, the secret is out, or will be soon, that there are no Reavers. But he doesn't know that. He's just walled in here and taken a quick third. So we're skipping Reavers entirely, or we are delaying them. That's what's happening if you are a Protoss fan. I love how this rock will just block the vultures from getting in. Alright, so I think he's protected most of his openings now. Shouldn't see any more dramas here. This is... Oh no, it's right here, man. Very sloppy. And only loses one vulture there, so that's pretty decent as well. So these like back ways around. So you cannot cordon off a base entirely. Oh wow. Okay. So there's some serious nuance to these bases in this map. No doubt about that. Observer having a look. We are making Reavers and speed shuttles. So obviously Flash has a sixth sense about the way Sins plays. Or could just gauge something from this build that I could not. But going Reavers now will kind of play into his hands. He's got Goliath, he's getting the Goliath upgrade, so the shuttles are very vulnerable. And he's got turrets in place, so I don't envisage a lot of damage being done. Flash catches the probe transfer before it happens. Very smartly done as well. So minimal amount of probes here at this third base. Interesting that he didn't take this base. It is only a few mineral patches, but perhaps this one. Although, is this... No, it's not difficult to access, but it is toward the Terran, right? So that's probably why he's avoided that course of action. Okay, so where are we in this game? We've got 48 probes across 3 bases as Protoss. We've got 56 workers, 83 supply as Terran. So Flash hasn't got much by way of units, but he's got strong economy. He's establishing a third base. He's got some tanks, probably lay some mines on the back path here. You ain't going to be able to get here, but you can come around the back way. So he'll establish a way to protect and also to get an early warning to see if anybody is wanting to come and harass this. And Sins' plan seems to be off of 3 bases to now try and do some harassment. Does have a few tanks in play here, so harassment from the Dragoons shouldn't in theory get all that much done. Vultures poking in, clearing some mines. Does drop down a Reaver, so the Reaver's now been shown. A couple of extra factories coming in now. Wait, you left the Reaver behind, dude. Where are you going? Ah, you're getting his cousin, Randall. Randall the Reaver. Let's go. Okay, so we have a decent amount of protection there of the third. Decent amount at the natural. Do we have anything camped inside our main for the Reaver drops? We have a Goliath and another Goliath here. And I think that's pretty much it for the time being. I like this yellow color on this map. It actually works pretty well. So double shuttle coming in. See what we can get done. Playing a few mines in our base as well. So there we go. The turret and the Goliath are literally waiting for this. So a lot of posturing. Supplies are dead even. I think Flash is in a very, very strong position in this game. And I don't know how you would want to take an engagement here. Do you want to take an engagement here? I mean, we are doing a few Zealot bombs. Some Reavers popping out as well. Incoming goons. There isn't much here because Flash has fortified his third. And I think this map does force a spread of your units, right? So none of these units are involved. Another drop on the Reaver. Scarab here could do some good work. Does pull away against 4 tanks and a line of mines. Interesting. Argument could be made that it could keep going, but I think any reinforcements that come up from this low ground position will probably fend off what's left. So, good restraint from Sins there, I think. Flash taking a 4th base behind this as well in this nearby position. And Sins has established the same on his side, but not yet saturated it. So, I think we're going to progress into a mid and possibly late game phase in this match as well. Both players definitely feeling each other out, kind of getting used to the nuance on this map. Another shuttle is in the game. Where are Goliaths that we're protecting? There's one, there's the other one. So I still think he's pretty well prepped for this, to be honest. More Dragoons marching across. This is pretty vacant, pretty exposed here. It's lost too many probes, I'm afraid. And the vultures can see... Oh my word. Watch out! Boom! And more Flash harassment. He's lost way too many probes to harassment. He's not even doing anything, he's just sleeping. Hello! Wake up! Oh dear. I think Sins' APM is being really, really taxed here, and he's getting smacked around by Flash. It's down to 35 workers, and not the most intricate of a harassment play, just APM, right? He can just control units here and units here at the same time, and that is just proving a little bit too challenging for our Protoss player to deal with. So in a very, very commanding position here is Flash. 161 with 76 workers, 4 bases. How many factories? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 factories. This is scary powerful. Like, if you're Protoss, this is just totally unbreakable. And you have to then try and defend all of your bases as well. You have to remake workers. You don't want to be making workers at this stage of the game. You want to be making units. You want to be attacking, right? And that's where he is definitely in a spot of bother. A couple more Goliaths coming into the composition. I heard a flash, not a flash. I heard a scan. And what did sneak up on me here was that Sins is going carrier. Now, we don't really see... well, I don't see games very often where Protoss pivots into carrier and loses. Of course, it does happen. I'm saying I don't see it very often, but Flash has got such a commanding lead here. The carriers were not subtle. They were not hidden away in a place that's difficult to see. So I think he saw them with a single scan. That being said, though, he is making vultures. He's not making Goliaths. So I'm not sure. We have a maxed out Flash. Where are our Goliaths? We've got some here, but not like a critical mass of them. This is going to force the engagement, though. So now, obviously, we do have siege mode. losing a few Dragoons for free here while trying to position his army. Flash very patient and methodical in his approach. Just recently did a game of his where he played Protoss against Toggles, and even though it was a lower level player, did take a very patient and methodical approach to that game as well. Plays quite respectfully against everybody. It doesn't really matter who he's playing, which I must say I do admire about someone with his credentials and experience. Okay, so we've got 5. Geez, like 5 carriers. It's already a scary number, isn't it? And everything is just kind of waltzing in the front door here. So, hi! Carriers have shown themselves. And, what does Flash do is the question. The ground units are not the threat here, right? The ground units are fine. But the carriers, there's a lot of them. Flash is not... He's making vultures. So even though he saw the carriers, he's still making vultures. Okay. We're going to take down this base without a problem. He's going to move down here to attack here. And I think he's going to have more than enough units here as well. This Nexus is not even established yet. So he has used his carriers now in a defensive way. He can hold off those tanks without a problem. And he's making 10 Goliaths now. Okay, so we are now pumping out Goliaths, like making 11 Goliaths at a time. Jeez, like 11 factories. That is the power of macro, guys. It is unreal how quickly he's been able to pivot into Goliath. Still using the ground units that he's got to thin the Dragoon numbers and give himself time to take the engagement. So Sins is basically making pure carrier. I want to try and get a count on his carriers, but he's... I don't want to say hiding his carriers from me, but I just can't see them temporarily. Where are you? Oh, here you go. Okay. So still about 4 or 5, making 3 more. But now suddenly we've got a decent number of Goliaths, making some more turrets. Buying some time to get up a critical mass. Once again is maxed out. And you would expect Flash to try and trade out his ground army to thin the ground army of Sins. It's a lot of carriers though. This is just chaos. Just interceptors being fired on. It seems to be a good map for carriers. I think some of these terrains are quite good for micro. They're not taking any direct body shots. Went pretty well from Flash's point of view, and there's many more Goliaths to come and reinforce. You're just buying time to build up a critical mass here against the carriers. It's going to be difficult for the carriers. Where the carriers are so powerful is that they can swoop in, kill a command center, and then bugger off, right? It's going to be very difficult to get that right here, though, because Flash will be tracking that army. He sent his Goliaths up here, presumably just protecting against the carriers, which have now shown themselves. This is going to be very awkward, because this is where the power of carriers is here. I mean, look at the angle that the Goliaths have to get. It's very difficult. This is such a narrow space. So this is fine by comparison, but this is lousy. So these workers are in a lot of trouble, and so is this command center, which is what it's choosing to target down. So this is what you do with your carriers. You wreck command centers and leave. There you go. So that's all gone. Now you can go away from those Goliaths. And he just loses the base that quickly. Also lost a bit of supply from that. He's going to remake the command center right away. and is going to apply some counter pressure here with a mix of tanks and Goliaths. Also engage here. Another good spot for the carriers. There's so many good carrier spots on Octagon. Wow. I won't be surprised to see Protosses go carriers almost exclusively on this map. It really does seem to be tactically sound. The counter harassment though from Flash is killing all the workers and the money. So I think Sins' lost condition is that he's just going to run out of money to sustain the carriers and the interceptors. And all Flash really has to do is hold on tight and have his Goliaths do a lot of the heavy lifting. Once again, a very, very difficult and awkward spot to access here. So another command center is going to go down. This time the ground units come and knock down the re-establishment of this base. All the while our carriers are moving through. And this is probably a little bit easier for the Goliaths to engage. 75, he's got nothing. He's got no workers. So Flash has successfully killed everything else while dealing with these carriers. But the carriers themselves, the numbers have remained. And it's been really, really tricky. But at the end of the day, Flash just had too much macro power here. So while he may have been caught a little bit off guard with the carriers, the problem is he just had too much money. Sins lost too much to Vulture Harassment and a couple of other errors that he made in the early game. But I think this is a warning to all Terran players. Watch out for carriers on Octagon, because these undulations, this terrain, these areas where they can fly, these narrow corridors that you have to try and get your Goliaths to, it's going to be a real pain. And even now, this game is by no means a foregone conclusion. He's still got to get the excess or the critical mass of Goliaths up to take care of this. Did hear a carrier die though. Does have a bit of money too, so can keep making interceptors. The Flash has got this base back online, he's got this base back online. Thing is, every time Sins knocks down a base, Flash can just rebuild one somewhere else. And every single one of his workers is being killed. He may even just lose every single building. Like the old school way of winning, right? That would be very funny if that does happen. So he's only got 3 carriers left. He's going to run out of steam. But like I mentioned earlier, Terrans be warned. Carriers can be good on this map. Not good enough to beat Flash today. As mentioned, just too much macro power. And a little bit of a sloppy early game from our Protoss. But definitely a viable strategy to play on this map. And a very good display of composure and disciplined macro. Good harassment play from Flash. And that's ultimately going to be what gets him over the line today. And that's going to be that. So, a fun game. Definitely a little bit of a mix. It was a great experience to do Octagon for the very first time. Good to see Flash practicing on the ladder and ASL maps. Hopefully that's a signal that he will be playing ASL this season. If you stuck with me to the end, please do leave a like on the video. I'd love to hear from you, some feedback, any thoughts that you had on the game. And until next time, I'm Rabbit Roo. You take it easy, and I will see you soon.